The truth is finally here. Hello again and welcome back to Top Gun PDR Training. I'm Marty Runick. I want to talk about the subject of large dent, paintless dent repair. The first thing I want to cover is why should you even do it? There are a lot of people out there that think that, hey, I'm making plenty of money doing small dents. Why would I even want to bother learning large dent repair? Well, I'll tell you, fellas, there's quite a few reasons. Probably the most important, and this couldn't actually come up at a better time as far as this subject. This video is being made just before Thanksgiving 2020. And as you all know, the virus looks like it's making another comeback, and there's a lot of texts out there thinking, oh, here we go again. You can't give a small dent away when stuff's like this. You know, when the economy's bad, nobody wants to spend money. Well, guys, that's one of the biggest reasons you want to learn this, because in my opinion, doing large dent, paintless dent repair pretty much makes you recession or economy proof. And here's the reason. I'm going to use myself as an example here. A number of years ago, I lived in Sacramento, and Sacramento is pretty much a government-based town, government services. Well, they had a massive layoff of government employees, and not even a week after that, I mean, you could literally walk into a Home Depot and fire off a cannon. There was nobody spending money doing nothing, pretty much dead. I changed my website up a little bit and made my slogan the fast, affordable alternative to the high cost of body shops. Put a few before and after pictures there with pricing compared to body shop of some large dent repairs. And I'd say within about a month, I had plenty of work. And most of the other, in fact, just about every tech I knew out here was kind of starving. That's a perfect example, guys. The ability to do large dent repairs, in my opinion, makes you recession proof, because while people don't care about small dents in a bad economy, they still want their big stuff fixed. And if you can do that, usually for quite a bit lower than the body shop, you pretty much got it. All right, so that's by far the biggest reason, guys, you want to learn this. You don't have to worry about the economic turndowns as much as you normally would. Now, for you guys in rural areas, I know this isn't going to make as much sense for you because your body shop labor rates are so ridiculously low already. In fact, you're probably doing large dent repairs as your mainstay anyway. Well, I got some good news for you. If you don't know it already, I do have actually more than two theory videos on my channel, just theory only videos. Now, we have quite a few videos where we actually do large dent repair. But the two theory videos are extremely important. You guys that are already doing these or want to start learning how, cannot stress enough, guys, that they're based on the Fairmont method of metalworking. Just about everything you want to know about large dent repair is covered in those two theory videos. Again, it's based on the Fairmont method. So what that method basically describes, fellas, is how to do it the way the old school guys used to do it. It is geared toward the finishing and not moving the metal, all right? So if you do everything properly the way those videos lay it out, your finishing should go a whole lot quicker because you're actually removing all the stress on the metal initially instead of waiting till the end of the dent. So anyway, watch those videos. They're for free on the site. They have been up there for quite some time. No excuse not to learn it the right way, fellas. Now, another reason for learning how to do large dent, paintless dent repairs is boredom. A lot of you long-time techs know that, a diet with just, pretty much golf ball sized dent, occasional body line maybe here and there and some creases, gets boring really fast. And you say, well, I'm still making pretty good money. I understand that. But I think you'd be really surprised, especially in areas with high body shop labor rates, there's actually a lot more money in the larger dent repairs, guys. And the nice thing about it is it always keeps your interest. I mean, I've been doing these since, gosh, well, I've actually been doing sheet metal repair for almost 50 years now. And I think 2 more years, it'll be 50 years. Never gotten bored yet. There's, every job is different, always new challenges. It really increases your learning curve too. So the chances of getting bored, guys, doing large dent repair, you're not going to get bored. It kind of makes it to where you look forward to getting up every morning and going to work. Okay, so if you're a normal, PDR tech, had at least a year or two experience, how do you make the transition? Well, first of all, let's talk about what not to do. What you don't do is go directly from small dents into large stuff. It's going to totally eat your lunch. Even if you watch those two videos that we talked about, the theory videos, doesn't matter, guys. It'll eat your lunch. and you're never going to want to touch another one. So what you do obviously is you break into it slowly. Okay, you start with no body lines, maybe something the size of an orange, then go up into a saucer cup, then dinner plate, and when you get to that size, start adding complexities like body lines, some reversed curves, stuff like that. So again, guys, just go slow. The learning curve can be a bit steep. Those videos are going to help you a lot, but you are still going to have a learning process to go through. So that's basically how you do it, guys. You can make the transition very easily, and the nice thing about it is they come to you constantly. Okay, you're turning them down already, almost certainly you are. So start not turning them down. And yes, the first couple ones you're going to spend like 2 hours, maybe longer on an orange-sized dent. Forget this. Don't be like that. Learn something from it. Move on. I would say your typical quality-oriented tech can make the transition between small to large dents probably in about a year. It'll take about, of going nice and slow, just taking the stuff that comes into you. In about a year's time, you should be fairly confident, especially again, if you have your theory down. And again, guys, I can't stress that enough. If you're doing it like you're seeing most guys doing, these things are going to take you hours to do. And dents that can take you 8 hours to do with the right theory, under an hour many times. And that's not an exaggeration. So break in slow, take your time, don't be in a hurry, and you should be fine, as long as you're a decent tech. Okay, guys, now for the important question. How do you sell this to the customer? Well, you're probably already getting them in. So what you have to know, guys, are just some of the basics. One of the most important things to know is that the law and technology both seem to conspire to make it more advantageous to have these done by PDR and less so to have it done in body shops. Probably the single biggest thing that's working to our advantage right now is a whole issue of diminished value. You guys might have already heard that the laws have changed to where if somebody hits you, their insurance company determines how much you get paid for your diminished value. So if you get hit, the car's obviously worth less. Now, in times past, you sometimes had to take the insurance company to court. You could sue and get a decent sized settlement because they know when you sell the car, it's not going to be worth as much because it has a Carfax report or something else. Can't do that anymore. They're going to pay you what they think it's worth. If they say it's a penny, you get a penny. Not that bad, but it's getting pretty close to that. Very typically, what I found, just the past few days, I had a guy tell me that they ended up paying him, I think it was a $5,600 claim. They wanted to pay him $120 diminished value. That was it. He had to take it. Now, when that car gets sold, that customer is going to have to take a beating on that car because when a potential buyer looks through the Carfax and says, oh, it's been to a body shop, next, you won't even get a chance. Another good example of that is we just sold my wife's Mustang a couple of years ago, and it actually had a couple dents on it, which of course I fixed. One that was really bad and actually probably should have went to a body shop, but we didn't. Well, the buyer said that ours was the only one that he had looked at that didn't have a Carfax report, had no history, and we were able to get top dollar for it. And I asked some questions and everything from him and a couple of other guys that came in as buyers, and they wouldn't even consider having something that's been on Carfax, guys. And if it is, you're going to have to pay, in many cases, you're going to have to take a 20 to 25% loss, and sometimes more. So when you're showing this to a customer, that's one thing you really want to stress is, look, if I do it, it never happened. There's no Carfax report, no history of this ever being done. You're not going to have to worry about any diminished value. You're not going to have to take less for it at resale. So that's your number one reason, and you got to make sure you explain that to the customer. Now, second reason, almost as important, you guys know that the paint that's being used now for body shops, and it's not the body shop's fault, it's government. The paint that even was available to us a while ago, it seems to be getting worse as time goes by. Not even close to what factory is. So that's the second thing you have to explain to the customer. This is the only method of repair where you keep your factory paint. So a couple of years from now, you're not going to be able to look at the repair and go, oh, look at the blend marks there, or gee, how come the colors changed, or look how it's faded. None of that. It's going to definitely help you at resale time, and of course it's going to help you because your car's going to look just as nice before the repair as after, and you don't get that as a body shop. Now, you also have problems with panel shrinkage from Bondo and stuff like that. All that is not an issue, guys. The repair is going to look just as good 10 years from now as the day you did it if you do it correctly. Okay, so what happens if the total cost of your repair is over the customer's deductible? Maybe even by a lot. Say it's $1,000 deductible he has and job's $1,500 to $1,500. Well, you have to explain to the customer, is that extra $500 you're going to have to spend worth it when you sell your car? You're going to have to take at least a 20% loss, usually more now, and you have far fewer people that are going to be interested in even seeing your car in the first place because it has a history. That's a big one, guys. Now, the other nice thing is, deal with me, no rental car, same day service. Almost always you can get the car, if you get it in the morning, same day usually isn't a problem. Now, one more thing, you should familiarize yourself with your state's laws, and there are a few laws that you can't, like say intrusion beam damage on a door, crash bar damage, you cannot fix that door. If it's got even a little bit of intrusion beam damage, you can't fix it. So that's the type of thing you do need to be aware of, guys. And generally when the intrusion beam is gone, the job's pretty much gone anyway. Okay, just use common sense and familiarize yourself with your state laws. Okay, so let's make this real world by example. Recently, quarter panel damage on a Beamer. It was about, I think it was $1,400 job, $400 over his deductible. And of course he brought that up. Here's how you would handle that. Well, sir, how long do you plan on keeping the car? Generally, they're going to sell it, 3 to 5 years. All right, well, if you're going to sell it that soon, just think about it. If you're the person buying that car, if you put yourself in the buyer's place here, are you going to want to buy a car that you've already seen has been to a body shop? And in 3 years, you are going to see where that damage was painted. You can sometimes even very clearly see it. You want to be dealing with that when it's time to sell the car. Is it worth it $400 to you to not have to worry about that when it comes time to sell? Also, you'll have the car back to you the same day, or rental car. Keep it short and sweet. Don't hit them with a bunch of facts. That's not really necessary unless they ask. Keep it simple. All right, and that's basically how you sell these fellows. It really isn't that hard. Well, I hope you've learned something, and I hope we've encouraged you to try to add this skill set to your business. And if you've learned something, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.